Well, thank you all for joining us today, and welcome to the first virtual travel show with AFC Vacations for 2022. My name is Will Reece, and I'm the marketing representative for AFC Vacations. We just returned in December, so it's been a couple of months since we've done one of these, but we did a fantastic international program doing the Christmas markets of the Rhine River, one of our chartered river cruise ships. And I'm looking forward to sharing some of the joyful memories of that trip, as well as many more, as well as we look ahead to the 2022 tours and cruises that we're offering. Also, for more information on our tours, you can join us on our Facebook page, AFC Vacations, and it has the same cover photo that we have here as the image to start. We'll get going here. And one special announcement is that we are celebrating our 40th anniversary. That's right, we've been in the business for 40 years, and we have a special program in 2022 to celebrate that. This is the Wonders of the Danube River Cruise, and this is a 9-day program, 20 meals included, and begins October 29th. So that's the date you'll fly out of the U.S. We'll be on the Amadeus Star, which is a brand new ship. It just launched in 2019. And we have a fantastic video to introduce you to this program. So in kind of winding up this tour and cruise, this specific departure and all of our river cruises include wine and beers with dinners. We have fantastic 4-course meals with dinner every single night aboard the ship. And we also include free Wi-Fi on board, so a couple of great features there. Now, one of the benefits to river cruising through Europe is the fact that we pull up pretty much right in the heart of each of the cities and either start a walking tour or board a motor coach for a tour of each of the cities that we visit. Now, on this departure, we'll fly into Budapest. Most flights get in the afternoon, so we'll head straight from the airport to the ship, board the ship in the afternoon, and start our journey. So we'll be working from Budapest through Hungary into Slovakia and one of my favorite cities, which is Bratislava. Bratislava's got a beautiful old town there, great district for shopping, cafes, and so forth. Then we work our way to Vienna, one of the most popular music cities with their opera, and then continue up into Germany. Now, at the end of this program, we also offer a 2-night extension to Prague in the Czech Republic. So it's a great way to see 4 major countries within the heart of Europe. And this is a program that is going to be led by our 2 of our best tour managers, and that is Deb Howard and Chris McCool. They'll be leading it on October 29th. So we'll end the program flying out of Munich unless you do that extension out to Prague. But a lot of great sights and sounds of Europe with this program. So we'll be on the river on the Danube. Now, our Normandy, Paris, and the Seine River cruise has been pretty close to selling out. We're almost complete, but we do have a couple of cabins available. This is an April 26th departure, and we fly in and out of Paris and then cruise the Seine. Fantastic program, 9 days, and incorporates a lot of the beautiful coastline, especially the history of the D-Day beaches in Normandy. And our Vienna and the Christmas markets of the Danube. Now, we just ran the Rhine River just this last month and had a fantastic time going through Switzerland, Germany, and France. This one spends a little bit more time in Austria as well. And so this program is 9 days, flying in on November 28th, or we land on the 29th into Frankfurt and spend one night in Frankfurt before we board the ship in Nuremberg. On our way to the ship, we'll stop in Rottenburg. And then once we board, we'll do a welcome dinner. And the last night of the cruise, we always incorporate a fantastic farewell dinner with a little bit extra for you all. Again, with this program, wine, beer, and soft drinks are included with dinners, as well as free Wi-Fi. Several Christmas markets. Now, the Christmas markets are a special time of year to be going out to Europe in general, but especially Germany and Austria. These Christmas markets have all sorts of ornaments, goodies, chocolates, and cookies as well. So a lot of specialties at each of the different cities that we visit. And a really fantastic time to get together with friends and family out in Europe. Now, the program starts in Frankfurt and we fly out of Vienna on the last day, but really great chance to see a beautiful portion of the Danube River on this tour. Now, some of the travel and safety requirements for this next year. Currently, TSA has extended the mask requirements through the airports and on airplanes into March of 2022. And then we do require proof of vaccination for all of our tours and cruises departing March 15th and after. Now, each individual location that we tour has varying guidelines that we'll inform you on as you're planning your program. And then we also do health surveys and waivers prior to starting the tour, so we know that everybody's healthy and safe coming on board. You can also check our website for more details and updates as things transpire. Now, there are a number of different advantages to booking tours and cruises with AFC, but one of the things that I think is most important are the fact that we have real people and great service taking care of your every need from the beginning of your planning all the way through to the end. And our staff have been working in the industry, in the travel industry, in total of about 116 years altogether. Of course, not just one person. So really great, knowledgeable staff of people that are there to help you plan your trips. And as I mentioned before, this is our 40th anniversary. We've been in business since 1982, and there's our first group in the Canadian Rockies in the summer of that year. On the left side, you have Randy Case, our founder, and bottom left is Matt Kennel, our president. And AFC means affordable first class in everything we do, from hotels, restaurants, and different vendors. We try to plan the most affordable, best vacation we can possibly give you. One of the things that's come around to me as I've gone out on different programs with AFC travelers is the fact that our home pickup airport service is quite a bit different from most other companies. For the last 25 years, we've implemented this program, and we'll pick you up right at your door, take you to the airport, and then pick you up from baggage claim on your return back home. And it's a round-trip home pickup service that no one else really meets to that same level. So that's one thing that separates us, and one thing we hear most from our travelers that makes a huge difference in their planning, their excitement of the trip, and creates quite an ease to travel. Our programs are inclusive packages. What that means is round-trip airfare is included, as are home pickups. You have the choice of airports, so either the closest local airport or the airport of your preference. And then if you have friends and family that want to join you from anywhere in the US, we can help them plan their trip as well. We're also incorporating a new service, which is pre-night accommodations, to help ease the first day of your travels. So we can plan a hotel accommodation prior to the tour start so that your trip experience, your travel day, is much smoother and easy to access. Now, there are a number of ways to save with our programs. One of the biggest is our cash early booking savings, and you can save anywhere from $50 to $350 per person, again, departure dependent. But this early booking savings helps for the first 1 to 10 passengers that book on different departures. One of the other bonuses with booking it with us is our single room supplement. Our single room savings is up to 50% off the first 5 to book on a program. So if you're a single traveler and looking for a little bit of assistance, we know the single supplements can get high, but with this option, it really does allow you to save some money. We offer programs all around the world, as well as different styles of tours and cruises. A lot of people really enjoy our Unpack Once tour, and those are programs that stay at one hotel and do what is called a hub and spoke. So you're going out each and every day from the same hotel, but it allows you to unpack your suitcase one time and settle into a property. We do classic tours by motor coach to the national parks and all around the country, as well as our river cruises that are chartered programs and fantastic first-class experiences, train tours, as well as ocean cruises. So a lot of different ways to get around and see the world. And we stay at quality accommodations. Up in the left-hand corner, that's one of the hotels we use on our Culinary Tuscany program, which is brand new. We stay out in the Chianti region in Tuscany. Up in the right-hand corner, that's the Palmer House Hilton in downtown Chicago, and we use that for the Chicago All Access Tour. The Grand Hotel Mackinac Island in the bottom left, and the Sedona Courtyard in Sedona, Arizona. So really great properties and hotels that we choose. And then what's a tour without memorable dining experiences? With our New Orleans programs, we incorporate the New Orleans School of Cooking to learn about Cajun cuisine. In the Northeast, we do lobster feasts. And then on our river cruises, as I mentioned, we do multi-course meals, especially for dinners. And one of my favorite programs is the California Rail Discovery with the Napa Valley Wine Train going straight through the valley with a gourmet lunch. And with our guarantees and investment protection, we are one of 60 members of the USTOA, and that's the United States Tour Operators Association. They have a $1 million Traveler's Assistance Program to protect you against any challenges you may have. So we're amongst a great group of tour operators that have that protection. We also offer a low-cost travel protection plan with a cancel for any reason benefit. So make sure you book that with your deposit. Then we do guaranteed pricing, and that's a new service for 2022. At times, hotels, restaurants, and so forth can change their pricing, but once you've deposited for your program, your price is locked in, so you don't have to worry about changing prices, especially as airline prices change. We also have guaranteed departures. You'll see that little notation GD on the brochure, and that means enough passengers are confirmed to operate our tours. We have an excellent staff and team of tour managers, and these are led by Deb, Chris, Denise, Chuck, Brad, and Pat, all of which have different styles and methods to help you experience your tours, as well as different knowledge in different destinations. But they're all experienced and knowledgeable, and they do a fantastic job helping you have fun on your trip. I think that's one of the founding pieces that I've taken from Randy is these tours are all about fun and having a memorable experience, and these are folks that can help you do so. And how do you make a reservation? Well, as Randy always said, one call does it all. You can call us at our 1-800 number above, our 858 local number for San Diego, or email Claudia at afctours.com. And remember to use the savings code for this special virtual travel show, VTS119. And I'll talk about more of how that can save you. So some of the show specials for attendees today. If you book a new 2022 tour by next Friday, January 28th, we'll reduce the deposit for your program. Originally, our main deposits are $350. Our brochure deposits, when our new brochure came out, brought it down to $250, but we'll take another half off of that. So for this program specifically, for this VTS, we'll bring it down to $125 low-cost deposit. Also, we offer no risk deposit and no change fees. So if you cancel or need to change your 2022 dates prior to final payment, we'll provide a travel credit so you don't lose any money there. We're also offering up till next month, so you just have about 20 or 30 days left of this one category upgrade, which can save $200 to $400 per person on our Wonders of the Danube River cruise. Again, that offer expires in February, but can save you quite a bit of money to upgrade your experience. And also, if you book your travel protection plan and pay with deposit, we'll take an additional $20 off your travel protection plan. Again, you must use the savings VTS 119 code when you do make your booking, and it's a very easy booking process. Just make a phone call and you're in and done. Again, these show specials are in addition to our discounts that I mentioned before. So where's your next AFC vacation heading? We have tons and tons of destinations to offer, and I'm looking forward to talking more about each one. As we go through, each of the slides covers one tour per slide. A couple of options, including the Culinary Tuscany, I'll get into more depth as it's one of our other focuses on this program. And if you're ready to go now, the next 2 or 3 months have several different departures to different destinations, including New Orleans, Texas, down to Arizona, as well as overseas. So as I mentioned before, we do have a couple cabins left for our Normandy, Paris, and the Seine River cruise. And our mystery tours are some of our most popular trips. These are all 5-day programs. And what sets it apart is we do all the planning. You sit back and relax, and we kind of unfold the tour as we go. So it's a really interesting concept that people absolutely love. And these are one of our most popular and one of the tours that sell out the most. So from March all the way through December, we have several different departures. What differentiate them are the new destinations or encore destinations. Now, if you've done a mystery tour with us before, we have over 60 different destinations that we've used for different mystery tours. Now, how these work is that we will set you up with information regarding the weather in the destination, as well as how to pack. We'll tell you when to be at the airport, and that's all incorporated with the home pickup service. And then once you arrive to the ticket counter at the airport, you find out your first destination. Your tour manager will meet you in baggage claim and take you off on a journey that kind of explores a new destination for you in most cases. Now, if you've done our mystery tours before and want to make sure you're not crossing paths with another trip that you've done, you can always ask April, Claudia, or anyone in our office and just make sure that destination is not a crossover. Now, one of our new programs for this coming year, Hawaii 3-Island Adventure. This is a program that flies into Honolulu for 3 nights, staying in Oahu, right near the beach. And a couple of the highlights of this program, we incorporate 3 main islands of Hawaii, and it's a huge archipelago. But one is Oahu. The next is the Big Island of Hawaii. And then we fly out of Maui. Now, all of them have very unique features, volcanoes, as well as beautiful black sand beaches. And one of the most popular highlights of this trip is the Hawaiian luau before your departure. So really great way to see the islands. It's a mix between a cruise and a vacation in terms of how relaxed pace it is. We also incorporate a visit to Pearl Harbor on this tour. So really great program, February 22nd, coming up here soon, as well as November 8th. And this is a program just specifically for this year. This is Seattle, San Juan Islands, and Alaska cruise. We'll be on board the MS Eurodam with Holland America for 7 nights. And we'll start out by flying into Seattle. It'll be round trip air into Seattle. And spend 2 nights there doing a city tour with the Space Needle, as well as a whale watching cruise up to the San Juan Islands. Then we'll board the ship right there in the port and head up to the southeast arm of Alaska, visiting towns like Sitka, Ketchikan, and Juneau. As well, one of the highlights is Glacier Bay. and any of the Alaska cruises, I highly recommend incorporating Glacier Bay, and we do this on this program. This is an August 18th departure and hosted by Deb Howard, so 10 days getting to see the beautiful Northwest as well as British Columbia. Now, speaking of the Northwest, one of our most popular tours up there is the Waterways and Northwest National Parks tour. And this tour highlights two main mountain regions, the Cascades with Mount Rainier, as well as the Olympic National Park in the Olympic Mountains. And you can see those from Hurricane Ridge at the Visitor Center there. We'll fly in and out of Seattle and spend 2 nights in town before departure, but we'll pretty much head straight down to one of the founding cities, which is Tacoma. And Tacoma was the heart of the railroad as well as shipping before the 1898 gold rush. We'll see Mount Rainier as well as Northwest Trek Wildlife Park, which features both local and foreign animals that are under protection, as well as the Olympic National Park. Then we'll also head out on a whale watching excursion to see those orca whales in the San Juans. The California Rail Discovery, this is a 7-day program. I mentioned before one of my favorite parts, which is the Napa Valley Wine Train, getting a chance to taste some of the Napa Valley wines, as well as a fantastic lunch on board. We'll spend 2 nights in San Francisco, getting to see the Golden Gate Bridge, as well as doing a winery and tour tasting in Napa Valley. Then we'll head up by train to the town of Truckee and drive around the west side of Lake Tahoe, spending 3 nights in South Lake Tahoe. From there, we go up to Reno, and a great chance to see the National Automobile Museum. Again, June 8th and October 12th for this. Our Great Trains and Grand Canyons tour, this is our most popular West Coast tour. 6 days, 5 nights in the beautiful town of Sedona. Now, we'll fly in and out of Phoenix, head up to Sedona from there. And then a couple of our main features on this program are the Grand Canyon, the Grand Canyon Railroad, and the Verde Canyon Railroad, which many people don't know about. But truly is one of the highlights, and we have a video to show you here.
Great Canyon Railroad is here so that people can go back in time and have a first-class experience in a historic canyon with great food, great music, and maybe get a little educated about the Verde Valley. The Verde Canyon Railroad is located in Clarkdale, Arizona. That's 25 minutes southwest of Sedona and just an hour and a half north of Phoenix. So we're really easy to get to. There are so many aspects of this train ride that make it unique. How many places can you go where you're riding on a historic rail line in historic cars that have been converted into first class, offering you appetizers, champagne, and you don't only have your one seat inside that's very comfortable and you look out panoramic windows, but you have a second seat in an open-air viewing car that no other train in the nation gives you.
Right now, you get a wonderful view of the canyon because the leaves are down from the trees, so you really get to see all the rock formations and the colors in the natural environment. During the spring, the wildflowers amaze people. During the summer, the lush foliage and the variety of wildlife that you see is what has people amazed. And then in the fall, you start to get those wonderful colors on those trees.
We are very much into service. So every car has a car attendant who's there to help you with pointing things out during the journey, picking up your trash, bringing you another cocktail, and making sure that your ride is wonderful.
We're constantly trying to upgrade and meet the highest levels of service that we can for all of our guests who come ride and want us to see the beautiful canyon that we have that only you can access through the Verde Canyon Railroad.
Since COVID has happened, we've made a lot of changes at Verde Canyon Railroad. Some we didn't realize would be so good for us. We, of course, are wearing our masks. We're taking all the proper precautions inside the depot, boarding the train, and we ask our passengers to wear their masks as well. It's allowed people to get out and see this canyon and enjoy it even during the pandemic. As we come into spring break, this is a great trip that people can do as a family. From 2 to 92, people enjoy being on board this train. They have the opportunity to see something that they otherwise couldn't do unless they walk or ride a horse. So come and ride our train. Come during the summer months and do our Saturday night Starlight trains. If you like wine, do our great train escape where we do wine tastings. Ales on Rails is in the fall. And of course, our most important trip of the year, when the big man himself comes, our magical Christmas journey is the whole month of December. We are a train for everyone for all seasons, and we want people to come out when it works for them and ride Verde Canyon Railroad.
The Verde Canyon Railroad.
So you can see all the different departures we have up at the top of the screen from February all the way through October. So many different departures because this is such a popular trip. Now, February 27th is with Chris McCool, and we'll have fantastic tour managers throughout the season on this program. 5 nights in Sedona. One of the other features is Montezuma's Castle National Monument, which you can see in the bottom left-hand corner. So come join us for this fantastic trip. Now, Idaho Adventure. This is a 7-day trip, May, September, and October. 2 nights we'll spend at the Coeur d'Alene Resort right there on the lake. Also getting a chance to see 4 major mountain regions and ranges, as well as the 2 main rivers that flow through Idaho, the Salmon and the Snake River. We'll be doing a tour and cookout at the Ryder Ranch, and then also incorporate a silver mine tour up in Wallace. Then one of the main focal points is getting down into Sun Valley and staying at the Sun Valley Lodge, which is a main ski area and beautiful spot in southern Idaho. So 7-day program, May 31st, September 9th, and October 1st. Our Colorado Rails and National Parks continues the theme of train tours, and people absolutely love them. This is a round-trip tour out in and out of Denver. We'll fly in, spend 1 night before working our way to the west. And we'll stop in the city of Vail for a walk and lunch. Then we'll head off to Grand Junction for 2 nights, and that'll be our jumping off point for Arches and Canyonlands. Heading down to Silverton, taking the Silverton and Durango Railroad, and 2 nights in Durango before 3 nights in Colorado Springs. And on those trips, 2 different trains, Silverton and Durango, and the Royal Gorge Railroad. Fantastic trip, June, August, and September. Then as we work our way into the northern national parks with Yellowstone and Mount Rushmore, this is an 8-day program, June 9th and August 25th. Primary focal points and highlights, we have 2 nights in Rapid City, and that's the heart of the Black Hills. From there, we get to see Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse, head to the east for Devil's Tower, and then out to Yellowstone National Park. We'll be staying in and around the park for 2 nights and get a whole day to explore. That'll incorporate Old Faithful as well as the Old Faithful Inn and several different geysers and features around the park. We'll head down to Jackson Hole for 1 night and the Tetons, getting a chance to see those beautiful mountains before flying out of Salt Lake City. Our Black Hills and Badlands program, this is one of our most popular trips as well. This is another Unpack Once tour, one of the ways you can settle into your hotel and get a chance to go out and explore every day. From Rapid City, we do Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse. We also incorporate the Badlands National Park out to the east. And then Fort Hays, which is where Dances with Wolves was filmed, the famous movie. We also ride the 1880s team train on this tour, which is just a couple of hour journey out towards Mount Rushmore, and then getting a chance to see Devil's Tower as well as historic Deadwood. So June, July, and September are our departures for this program and really popular tour up in South Dakota. Our Red Rocks to the Rockies by Rail is a brand new program, and this is going June 16th as well as October 2nd. This is a program that features 3 nights in Moab, 2 days on the famous Rocky Mountaineer. And the Rocky Mountaineer, originally up in the Canadian Rockies, decided to start a new track and use this stretch in the Southwest, and getting a chance to see some of the beauty in the national parks down here. This tour also features Canyonlands as well as Rocky Mountain National Park, and then Glenwood Springs. And we have a video to show you a little bit of an introduction to this brand new route.
An extraordinary place deserves an extraordinary way to see it. Our newest route, Rockies to the Red Rocks, brings 30 years of Rocky Mountaineers' world-class service to the stunning desert vistas of the American Southwest. Traveling from the vibrant Denver, Colorado, past some of nature's wonders, vast canyons, chromatic deserts, and panoramic views, to the mesmerizing red rock landscapes that twist through the bright blue sky. It's rail travel at its best. After all, if you're going to see an extraordinary place, you want an extraordinary way to see it.
So June 16th, October 2nd for this 8-day program. We'll fly into Grand Junction and out of Denver and getting a chance to spend some quality time on the Rocky Mountaineer. Another program that incorporates the national parks as well as going up into Canada is U.S. and Canadian national parks. This is a 9-day tour, July 9th and 20th, where you'll get a chance to visit 6 national parks, including Revelstoke, Glacier, as well as Lake Louise and Emerald Lake. One of my favorite parts is Takaka Falls, and it's a beautiful waterfall. Then Head Smashed In Buffalo Jump is another main feature of this program. For over 5,500 years, the Native Americans used this 36-foot cliff to run the buffalo off and hunt the beautiful bison and buffalo. Then we also incorporate Spokane City Tour and Manitou Gardens, which is a beautiful garden area. So this is a 2-time program this year in July. Canyon de Chelly and Mesa Verde, this is one of our most popular national parks tours. We do a loop flying in and out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's a famous hub for the Balloon Fiesta. We'll visit one of my favorite sites, which is the Acoma Pueblo, or Sky City as it's called. It's one of the only cliff dwellings that's built actually on top of a mesa. So you get to see that. Then you work your way out to Canyon de Chelly, which you can see in the upper left and bottom right-hand corner. We also visit the Petrified Forest and Painted Desert in Arizona, and then work our way up to the Four Corners between Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. So fantastic program, 5 days, May 17th and September 13th. Then Ultimate Canyonlands. This is a great way to see 6 state parks as well as some of the main national parks in the Southwest. Focusing mostly on Utah and Arizona, we incorporate the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which is less popular, less crowded, and a really great way to see the canyon. Also Bryce Canyon, where you can see the hoodoos. You can see that in the upper right-hand corner. Arches National Park, as well as 2 nights around Zion National Park and getting to see that beautiful valley. So departures June 8th and October 5th for Ultimate Canyonlands. Our Portland Rose Festival tour. This is the 2nd largest Rose Festival to the Pasadena Tournament of Roses. And this is a 6-day tour in June 9th, just one time because of the festival itself. But if you're into gardening, if you're into flowers, this is a program for you. We get a chance to see the Pittock Mansion, which is home of Henry Pittock. He was the founder of the Oregonian newspaper, and his wife started the International Rose Test Garden in Portland. And Portland's known as the City of Roses. The festival itself is a parade that starts in Memorial Coliseum, and we do have indoor seating for that. We go to Mount St. Helens National Monument. From Johnston Ridge, you can see out from the observatory there. And then we head out to the coastline, getting a chance to see Fort Clatsop, where Lewis and Clark had their winter settlement. That's also where Lewis's dog was kidnapped by the Native Americans. Some great stories out there. Then we'll work our way down the coast and getting a chance to stop at Tillamook Cheese Factory and tasting some local dairy from Oregon. We visit Multnomah Falls, which is a beautiful waterfall up in the right-hand corner, split into 2 parts, Upper and Lower Falls, and then take a Columbia Gorge stern wheel cruise along the river that Lewis and Clark made its way out to the Pacific on. And speaking of Albuquerque, as I did before, New Mexico Balloon Fiesta. Originally, we had one departure for this last year, and it was such a popular tour and sold out that we added a second for 2022. So September 30th and October 7th. This is a program where you get a chance to see the most photographed event in the world in the Balloon Fiesta. And we'll see it in two lights. In the morning, we go out bright and early for the mass ascension, and then we come back in the evening for the balloon glow, seeing thousands of these beautiful hot air balloons taking off, both in the morning as the sun rises as well as the sun setting. Then we tour Santa Fe, Taos, and the city of Albuquerque, as well as seeing Chamayo's El Santuario, which is one of the oldest Spanish settlements in the United States. So a really great tour, and we also incorporate the Taos Pueblo. Then Chicago All Access in Wisconsin. Great way to see Illinois and Wisconsin on this program. Start by one hotel stay. So unpack once in downtown Chicago. Like I mentioned before, we use the Hilton Palmer House in downtown. Get a chance to see Wrigley Field for the Cubs baseball, as well as doing a full city tour. Now, we also incorporate a river cruise as a architectural tour on this program. Then get a chance to see Frank Lloyd Wright's home and studio, as well as the Art Institute of Chicago on this trip. Really great way to see this part of the country. And this is one of our most popular tours with Niagara Falls and the Grand Hotel. 6-day tour. We've added a date, which is May 7th, as May 15th is nearly sold out. And then we also have a date in the fall, which is October 9th. And this is a program that flies into Detroit, Michigan. And we head to the home of Henry Ford, and that's Dearborn, Michigan, just right outside of Detroit. We stay in Dearborn for 2 nights before working our way up to Mackinac. And in Dearborn, we do 2 different museums. We do the Henry Ford Museum as well as the River Rouge plant to see where the F-150s are built. As we get up to Mackinac, we'll be taking a short ferry ride over to Mackinac Island, leave the coach behind. And Mackinac is a car-free zone. So we'll be getting around by horse-drawn carriage, and doing a city tour on Mackinac Island before we head off to Frankenmuth for 1 night and get to see this beautiful Bavarian-themed village with one of the largest Christmas stores in the country. Before we end the trip, we head off to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side, and we have 2 nights in Niagara Falls, getting a chance to see the Maid of the Mist cruise, as well as the IMAX Theater. And Brandywine, Philadelphia, and Amish Country. This is a new tour structure, similar tour to our previous, but we've adjusted how it flows. We've incorporated a 1 hotel stay, so unpack once in Philadelphia, and we incorporate a Philadelphia city tour. And one of the highlights is getting a chance to see Independence Hall and National Constitution Museum. Then one of the other main sites we do are 2 different DuPont mansions. The DuPont family was very wealthy. They had the Longwood Gardens and Nemours mansions. So we'll go out to both of those. Then visit Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is famous for its chocolate, the town that chocolate built, and we'll do a museum visit as well as chocolate tasting there. So June 5th, September 25th, and October 9th on this program. Now, Cape Cod and the islands, this is one of our most popular East Coast trips. We'll spend 1 night in Boston, and that includes a city tour, going to see Faneuil Hall, and also learn about the Boston Tea Party and numerous events from the Revolutionary War. From there, we'll head out to Plymouth and learn about the Colony, Plantation, and Plymouth Rock. Then we'll stay 5 nights in Yarmouth or Hyannis and visit the islands with Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket. End this trip with a fabulous lobster farewell dinner and get a true taste of the Northeast on this program. You can see all the dates above. Similar to Great Trains, this is our most popular East Coast tour, so June, July, August, September, and October. Now, Coastal Maine Lighthouses and Landscapes is an 8-day program, just started last year. We'll fly in and out of Boston, and the difference on this is that one of the added features on the city tour is a visit to the oldest stadium in the United States, and that's Fenway Park, which is home to the Boston Red Sox. It dates to 1912. The Portland Head Lighthouse is an incredible site and also incorporates a lot of great history to it, especially around the Revolutionary War. During that time, the town posted 8 soldiers to look out for the British at Portland Head itself. And beautiful lighthouse out there. Then take a lobster boat cruise and learn about the fishing process and enjoy a lobster bake to try the delicacy. So really all-encompassing program around the coast of Maine. Then New York City and the Hudson Valley. This is a 7-day program, 8 meals included, and only 2 departures on this tour. So May 13th and September 23rd, start out with a New York City tour, and that incorporates Little Italy, Times Square, and Central Park, and we'll have a local guide for that tour. Then head out by ferry and get a chance to see the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island and learn about the immigration of America's early days. After 3 nights in the city with a Broadway show, you'll make your way to the Valley and see West Point Military Academy as well as Hyde Park. Now, Hyde Park was home to Franklin Delano Roosevelt and is the current home of his presidential library. So you'll get a tour of the library itself. As we work our way into the Northeast again, Great Canadian Cities and Niagara Falls. So spend time in each of the major Eastern Canadian cities, including overnights in Toronto, Ottawa, Quebec, and Montreal. And you'll take the Via Rail train from Montreal to Quebec and hear how in 1608, Quebec City was founded as the capital of New France under Henry IV. Take a cruise through the Thousand Islands and finish your tour experience with a major bucket list item, and that's Niagara Falls. So you'll get a chance to see Niagara in multiple facets for 2 nights there before flying out of Buffalo. Now, Pittsburgh and Falling Water, this is a 5-day program. One of the fun features on this tour is a nightly cocktail party at the hotel, and you'll get a chance to spend more time with your tour mates and friends. So 4 nights in the city of Pittsburgh. We'll do a Pittsburgh city tour, and Pittsburgh is known as the City of Bridges. It is the confluence of 2 major rivers. We'll also see 2 major museums, which is the Heinz Museum and Carnegie, and then visit historic Fort Pitt, and that's at the confluence as well. Then we'll get a tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, and that was a building he designed in the 1930s. 1935, he created a 22-room masterpiece and incorporates quite a lot of beautiful furniture inside. Some great ways to view that on YouTube as well if you want to see for yourself before going out. And this is a program that just happens once a year, so October 3rd for 2022. Don't miss out. Magnolia Trails in the heart of Texas is a program that has multiple departures, March, April, October, and November. 2 nights in Dallas and 2 nights in Waco. So on our Dallas City tour, we incorporate AT&T Stadium, which you can see in the bottom left corner. AT&T Stadium is the home of the Dallas Cowboys, and we get on-field access as well as a tour of the press box. Then you'll see the Texas Book Depository, and then head off to the George W. Bush Presidential Library, right on the SMU campus. We'll head to Fort Worth, getting a chance to see the cattle drive that happens twice a day, and then spend 2 nights in Waco, Texas, and see the town that Joanne Gaines helped to establish and liven up a bit with the HGTV series for that show. Magnolia Markets at the Silo is one of our big stops on that location, and the Silo's Baking Company is included. We'll stop in there. Then we get a tour of the Dr. Pepper Museum and end this program with the Texas Barbecue Farewell. And San Antonio Fiesta is a special event that happens April 1st. We'll be flying in and out of San Antonio and get a chance to see the hill country around Texas, going up into Fredericksburg, which is a popular German town with a fantastic World War II museum. We do a San Antonio city tour that incorporates an IMAX movie talking all about the Alamo, and then you'll get a chance to see the Alamo up close in person. We visit Mission San Jose right there in San Antonio as well. And then one of the highlights of this program is the Cavaliers River Parade. And this is put on by the U.S. Army. So a lot of military barges and river boats. And the parade itself is all along the river walk. So different boats and floats going down the river. We head up to Austin and see the Lyndon B. Johnson Library. And then we also get a chance to see the Lyndon B. Johnson Ranch, as well as the National Museum of the Pacific. So this is April 1st, a 5-day program, but San Antonio is an excellent city to visit. Then we move on to the Midwest and head out to St. Louis. So we'll fly into St. Louis on America's Music Cities. The primary focus of this tour is the different cities and different styles of music throughout the country. So we'll focus on live music in Branson. It's the live music show capital of the country. Head to Little Rock for the Clinton Presidential Library, and then learn about the blues in Memphis. Then we head off to Nashville for country music and get to see the Grand Ole Opry. This is an 8-day program, April 21st and October 13th, so please join us for those. And Florida and the Keys. So we actually have a fantastic departure. I believe the date's incorrect, but we have a February 23rd program heading off quite soon here, as well as a late November program for Florida. It's a 7-day tour. Get a chance to see the Ringling Brothers Museum. A lot of people have seen the Ringling Brothers Circus before, but the museum is a fantastic way to learn about the group that inspired it all. We'll see Henry Ford and Thomas Edison's winter estates, as well as take an airboat ride in the Everglades. And this is covered with live animals, different species from the Everglades, birds, gators, and so forth. We'll do a city tour in Miami, as well as a canal cruise of Fort Lauderdale. Then we head off down to Key West for 2 nights. So this is a fantastic program in Florida. Now, New Orleans and the Mississippi Gulf Coast is a combination of our New Orleans and Cajun country, as well as a little bit of a Mississippi feel to it. So 2 nights in New Orleans, and one of the most popular is getting a chance to see Café du Monde, and that's where you get the famous beignets. As I mentioned before, the New Orleans School of Cooking is an awesome demonstration and way to learn about how they cook down in Louisiana. And then we visit Mardi Gras World and learn about the famous festival there. Then we head off to Biloxi for 3 nights and head off on the North Shore, the coastline, which is a beautiful stretch of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. We also do a shrimp boat cruise and go to the Maritime and Seafood Museum on this tour. And we have our upcoming departure, which is February 13th with Deb, and then November 6th departure. This is a 6-day program. Savannah and Charleston. This is one of my favorite trips, and we have 1 departure on this popular tour, which is March 9th. So Deb Howard will be leading that. And Charleston was the first planned tour town in the 13 colonies, and named after King Charles II, and it was originally known as Charlestown. Of course, they changed it after the war. So this is a program that really highlights 2 major cities, but then also incorporates a sweet spot in between, which is Jekyll Island. Now, Charleston, we get a chance to see the famous Pink House, which is known as one of the oldest buildings still standing, and it was built between 1694 and 1712. Then head off down to Beaufort, and we do a carriage ride, getting a chance to tour the town. From there, we head off to Savannah for 2 nights. And one of my favorite parts of Savannah are the more than 20 major squares throughout the city. And these are originally planned in the town structure, so date back several hundred years, and are covered with beautiful oak trees that are lined with that beautiful Spanish moss. From there, we head down 2 nights in Jekyll Island, and not just any hotel, but the Jekyll Island Club. So we'll stay 2 nights there. And it was opened as the richest, most exclusive, and inaccessible club in the world in 1888. So you'll enjoy an incredible dinner at the Jekyll Island Club, as well as a tour of the millionaires' homes. Then New Orleans and the Cajun country. We spend 3 nights in New Orleans, then head off to Natchez, as well as Lafayette. With New Orleans, we get a chance to taste some of the specialties at the Court of Two Sisters, as well as incorporating the New Orleans School of Cooking. We do a city tour as well as a walking tour in New Orleans, so a walking tour of the French Quarter and city tour of New Orleans itself. Then we hop on a steamboat along the Mississippi River. So some great aspects to this trip. And one of the less known but more popular experiences on this journey is the Tabasco factory on Avery Island. Then Washington, D.C. Cherry Blossoms. This is a one-time-a-year tour, April 6th, and it is a 6-day program. We start out by visiting Arlington National Cemetery, and that was originally on Robert E. Lee's family plot. Then we head off to the White House and get a chance to see the Visitor Center and learn about the presidencies, different families that have lived in the White House throughout the years. Get a chance to tour the Ford Theater, and not only is it a museum in the lower half, but also get up close to where President Lincoln was assassinated. From there, we head off to Mount Vernon and get a tour of George Washington's home and estate. Then we also incorporate the U.S. Naval Academy on this tour, going out to Annapolis. So April 6th, one departure, and a fantastic program to learn a little bit about the cherry blossoms and cherry trees that were donated by the Japanese. And Georgia on My Mind, this is a one Unpack Once tour, focusing in and around Atlanta. So 5 nights and 6 days, April 21st and November 10th. We start out with an Atlanta City tour and learn about the 96 Olympics and Centennial Park, which was converted from kind of old warehouse buildings into a beautiful park stretch. And then we'll also see the state capitol and Martin Luther King's home in downtown. We'll do a behind-the-scenes tour of CNN studios and then tour the Gone with the Wind Museum, as well as the World of Coca-Cola. So fantastic trip, April 21st and November 10th. Now this is one I'm extremely passionate about and one I'm excited to announce that I'll be leading on October 11th. This is Tuscany Culinary Experience, and it's a brand new tour for AFC. I've had the opportunity to lead a tremendous amount of Italy programs, and this is one I'm most excited about. What we do on this program is fly in and out of Florence, and Florence is home to me. I spent a semester abroad living in the city and learning all about the different components of Tuscany itself, the region. Now, Italy is large. It's about 19 regions in total, but Florence and Tuscany as a whole are probably my favorite parts. It is an Unpack Once tour, staying in the heart of Chianti, the famous wine region in Tuscany. And one of the components that I'm most excited about is our truffle hunt. We'll go out with smaller groups. We'll break out into about 10 or 15 people each, and then head out into the tree line and get a chance to go out with the dogs and learn about truffle hunting. And we'll be doing that at a estate, which was actually owned by the Machiavelli family, famous politicians in Tuscany. We do a wine tour and tasting, and that'll be at Volpaia. Volpaia is a beautiful town up in the hillside, and the whole structure itself is a castle. Now, they actually have pipes going underground and around the entire facility, around the entire castle, pumping wine. So wine is flowing through the streets of Volpaia. And most of these castles were converted in the 1960s and 70s as they were a little bit pricey to keep up. So many families would buy out those castles at that time period and revive them to some extent. We'll be heading down to the south to Pienza and doing a pecorino cheese tasting. And my good friend Giuseppe is down there ready to meet with all of us, do a cheese and wine tasting there. And then to Montalcino. And Montalcino is famous for Brunello wines. And there's a special tradition to growing grapes and making wines in Montalcino, and that's incorporating music with the wine process. So we'll have a sommelier walk us through the wine tasting experience as well as the process for growing these grapes. 2 main cities that we incorporate in touring are Florence for part of the day, as well as the city of Siena. And I'll talk about more on that. One of my favorite aspects of this tour is Saffron Farmhouse. So a little farmhouse right outside of the town of San Gimignano that we'll be doing lunch at. They produce their own saffron. They have a horse stable and so much more. So great little family there. We'll head out to Lake Trasimeno and do a tour of the island Maggiore, with lunch, and then get a chance to see the little town of Tuoro. San Gimignano is one of my favorite towns in all of Italy, and you can see a couple of photos on the right-hand side of the center of San Gimignano, as well as the outskirts in the bottom right-hand corner. So you'll see the city of Florence on the left-hand side with the Duomo, famous Duomo Cathedral. And then on the right-hand side, that's a shot I took while I was out there just this last month, getting a chance to explore and touch base with all the hotels and restaurants that we'll be using. And we'll be doing a pasta making class, not in Siena, but out at Castello Vecchio Maggio. And it's a 9th century castle. You can still see the tower there today from the 9th century. We'll do a wine tasting and pasta making class. And we'll also incorporate a city tour of the city of Siena on this trip. So I'll be doing the October 11th tour. I'm looking forward to having you on board, as well as the November 15th date we have available too. Then the Treasures of Ireland program. This is a regular tour for us. We fly in and out of Dublin, but this tour incorporates both North and South Ireland. So the northern part of Ireland is still under British rule and the UK. We'll head up to Belfast and learn about the Troubles in the 1980s, spend 2 nights in Belfast. And part of that experience will be going to the Titanic Museum. Then we'll head out to the Giant's Causeway during one of the days. And as we work our way out to the west, we'll be staying in Limerick for 2 nights. And Limerick, famous for Angela's Ashes. We'll do a medieval banquet at one of the beautiful castles out on the western coast of Ireland. And then visit Galway. Now, Galway is a fantastic university town in the country. Of course, we can't go to Ireland without doing the Ring of Kerry and then the Cliffs of Moher. Then we work our way back towards Dublin and stop at Blarney Castle to visit the Blarney Stone. So April 19th, October 11th, and November 1st for this trip. Now, Alpine Swiss Villages, we have a departure July 20th, and this is a 9-day tour. 6 nights in the beautiful town of Wengen. And this is a town that's up in the mountains, up in the Alps. And we'll be taking different modes of transportation, as everyone will be provided a Berner Oberlin pass. And this pass gives you access to lake cruises, the different rails and cogways throughout Switzerland, and a really great way to experience Switzerland as a whole. We'll be going to Bern, Interlaken, Brienz, and Lucerne, and you can't really miss the Zermatt and the Matterhorn. So 1 departure July 20th, coming up with 9-day tour. Then Iceland Explore. This is a program that's truly gone off the rails in terms of its development. 7 days and 3 departures, June, September, and October. As Iceland's grown and its popularity has grown, they too have started to enhance the tourist experience and built Reykjavik up, not only the airport, but also a lot of the accommodations. So this is an Unpack Once tour where we'll be staying in Reykjavik the whole time and get a chance to head out to the famous Blue Lagoon. And that's where you can jump in the waters and feel quite a bit younger. We do a South Coast tour as well as a Golden Circle tour that incorporates the waterfalls and geysers, and then learn about the volcano that's created most of the land in Iceland. So June 1st, September 14th, and October 5th. Then Athens and the Greek Isles. This is a 3-time tour for the year, April, May, and October. 9-day program where we'll fly in and out of Athens. Spend 2 nights in Athens and do the city tour as well as the Olympic Stadium and the Acropolis. Then we'll take the high-speed ferry and stay in Mykonos for 2 nights. From there, we'll head off to Delos and do a walking tour of the island of Delos, as well as heading off to Santorini for 2 nights. So 4 nights in whole, And we do it a little bit differently than a lot of other companies. Most companies do a cruise out to the Greek islands, and you only get a short amount of time in each of the ports. But by staying there, by taking the high-speed ferry, we save you time, energy, and maximize your experience out there in Mykonos and Santorini. Then you can also extend your trip up to the north to learn about the northern part of Greece, to Delphi, Kalambaka, and head back into Athens. So a really great program, Athens and the Greek Isles. Then if you want to learn a little bit about the southern part of Italy, we incorporate Italy's Amalfi Coast, and this is one of the most visited sites in all of Italy. We stay 5 nights in Sorrento, and then a few nights in Rome, flying in and out of Rome as our airport hub. We'll work our way down into Sorrento and learn about the coastline from there. We do a day trip up to Naples, as well as the Isle of Capri, get a chance to go out and see the Blue Grotto, and then learn about Pompeii and the famous Mount Vesuvius eruption. A few food tastings on here as well for the foodies like me, and we also incorporate the limoncello demonstration. So 8 days, April 19th and November 8th. Then this is a special event. The Passion Play happens once every 10 years. We have 3 departures, which are July, August, and September. And we'll start out by flying into Munich and stay 2 nights there, incorporating a Munich city tour. From there, we work our way down to Oberammergau, and en route, we stop and see the Neuschwanstein Castle, and that's famous for King Ludwig. We do the Passion Play in Oberammergau, that's up in the Bavarian Alps, and this is a play, as I mentioned, happens once every 10 years. Originally, it was scheduled for 2020, and they smartly moved it back 2 years instead of just 1. And it tells the life and story of Jesus Christ. It was based around the plague of the 1600s, and the city promised that if they put on this presentation every 10 years, they hoped that they would avoid the plague back at that time. And they were able to, and the play has continued for hundreds of years now. From Oberammergau, we head out to Salzburg, famous for the Sound of Music, and then do a Danube cruise for a short period to learn about the river itself. We end the tour in Vienna with 3 nights incorporating a city tour, and then add a optional 2-night extension to Prague if you'd like. Costa Rica is one of the most exotic programs, and the whole country itself is absolutely gorgeous. Very lush, very beautiful, and very diverse. You have volcanoes with Paus Volcano National Park. We also incorporate the Monteverde Cloud Forest, so you're up at quite a high elevation there, getting a chance to be up and in the clouds. And then Arenal Volcano in La Fortuna. So La Fortuna is the hub to head out to the volcano area. And then flying in and out of San Jose on this program. So great chance to see the Pacific coast in Costa Rica and the central part of the country. And those beautiful animals, the howler monkeys, as well as different species of birds. Now, how do you make your reservation? As I mentioned before, one call does it all. You can call us at our 1-800 number, as you can see above. You can email April or Claudia at afctours.com and visit us at afcvacations.com. And on there, we have different forms, depending on whether it's a domestic, international, or cruise tour. Remember to use the savings code VTS119. And again, I'll bring up the slide that shows the show specials for attendees. So if you book a new 2022 tour or cruise by January 28th, again, we'll reduce that deposit down to $125, and that one category upgrade that can save you $200 to $400 per person. Then if you do book your travel protection plan with your deposit, we'll take an additional $20 off, but you must use the code VTS119. Thank you very much for attending. We really appreciate your time and energy, and please join us for one of our many tours for 2022. Thank you very much.